Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here and I'm back again with a brand new video. So before I begin, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more content. With that being said, this is the Samsung Galaxy A25 5G. I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but hey man, better late than never. So this is going to be my first impressions. I've had this phone for a little bit less than a day, so here are my thoughts on the design, the display, the specs, the camera, and I'll kind of wrap it up in a conclusion. Beginning with the design itself, this is kind of the Galaxy A15's big brother. So it has a lot of design characteristics that it shares with the A15, from this smooth back finish to it, even down to the squared off sides, the way that the ports look. But basically, if you were to kind of try and find some differences here, it would be within the kind of design pattern. So if you shine this phone under sunlight or under any light in general, you'll see that it has these kind of dots embedded within the back design itself. They don't really provide any texture or anything like that, aesthetic type of thing. And if you look at the bottom, you do get a couple of things. So one, you do get a headphone jack, your microphone, your USB-C that does support 25 watt of wired charging. You also get your bottom facing speaker, which is definitely way better than the A15's, so thumbs up for that. And if you look at on the right hand side, very similar style, power button, volume up and down. Even this curve on the sides that leads up to the power button and the volume up and down is the same as the Galaxy A15. So I guess that's the theme for this year. And the back has a triple camera setup, which we will cover, but basically you get a main sensor, an ultra wide, and a macro sensor. One of the things that I noticed as well is that the kind of camera protrusion here is less noticeable than the Galaxy A15. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still does protrude, but it's not as dramatic as something like the A15 or even something like the A54 or the S23 FE. So the next topic of conversation is going to be the display. So Samsung here gave us a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display that is 1080p, and one of the advantages that it has over the And to me personally, I feel like this is this phone's biggest advantage and I would say biggest pillar. So this is one of the best displays that I've seen for around $299, and it does support up to 1000 nits of peak brightness, so it's really bright outdoors, so not a lot of people are going to have issues. Which again is a very similar screen to body ratio when comparing it to the Galaxy A15 5G. Now moving on to the specs and the performance, here's the kind of spec list. So here you get a Exynos 1280 processor, which is based on a 5nm architecture. It is octa-core and it uses the Mali G68 for GPU. Now this is for the most part a decent processor that will handle most of your tasks. You also get 128GB of storage and a 6GB RAM option, and you can even up it to 256GB of storage and 8GB of RAM. You also have a 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now when it came to my experience for the couple of hours that I've used this phone for, it seemed like it can handle most of the tasks that I throw at it very smoothly. Obviously I do have to spend a little bit more time with it to kind of give a more of a determination on how the performance is, but that's kind of the summary. And if you look at the back, so circling back to the camera system here, you do get a 50 megapixel main sensor. You also get this ultra wide sensor as well as a macro sensor, and the ultra wide sensor here is a 8 megapixel and the macro sensor is a 2 megapixel. Now one of the advantages that this phone has is that the camera so far has been much better than the A15 when it comes to taking pictures, photo quality, and even the transition between the main sensor and the ultra wide and the macro sensor. It seemed very smooth, at least smoother than the Galaxy A15. So that's what you can get for your $100. And also this phone does support electronic image stabilization, especially when taking videos, and it can shoot videos up to 4K, which the A15 was missing right there. And it can also shoot 1080p video at 60 frames per second for smoother video. So far this camera seemed to be a nice upgrade from the Galaxy A15. However, like I said, I do have to spend some more time with it to kind of give you guys a better determination. Now, if I were to put a conclusion on this phone off of my first impressions, it would be this. This seems like a Galaxy A15 Plus or a Galaxy A15 Pro, right? So it does cost $100 more, but for the $100 you get a couple of things. So you get improvements in the display, even though they're kind of minor. So brighter display and a higher refresh rate. You get improvements in the camera and the performance. Now the design, they're very similar, like really similar. So with that being said, I'm going to be working on making more videos about this phone after I spend a little bit more time with it to see how it stacks up. But as of first impressions, I feel like this may go under the radar a little bit, but for its price point, it seems like it's appropriately priced. The $299 price point is a good deal in my opinion. You get a better speaker, better camera system, and supposedly better specs and a slightly better display than the Galaxy A15, which again, I feel like this should be the A15 Plus or the A15 Pro. Alright, so with that being said, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching.